Hello and welcome to Bloke on the Range. Now, a little departure from normal Mad Minute service. We're going to redo a rifle for the first time. I'm often asked whether I think that the lower recoil on such and such a rifle makes a difference. And up to now, I think the answer is no. Because essentially, when you do your shot cycle, it's empty. So you shoot, bang. You do follow through. You might not see it, but you do follow through. You let the recoil happen, and then you go for the bolt and work it. And whether the recoil takes you up to there or to there, you've still got to work the bolt, which still has a lot of a disruptive impact on your position. So what we're going to do to test this is we are going to go down to extremely light loads. These are Lee 160 grain cast bullets that I cast, and I've powder coated them, which is why they're blue. They are gas check bullets, but I put no gas checks on them, and the load is all of 6 grains of bullseye. And for those who are busily tapping away about filler, the only filler you need is air. I would not put filler in a load like this because the chances are that the small amount of powder risks migrating into the filler and then give you a squib that you wouldn't have otherwise had. The squib itself might not be too bad, but the round you put up behind will be. So these are pretty well explored loads. There's an Ed Harris article about them. It's 90% of what you need to know about light cast bullet loads and full power rifle cartridges. Link in the description below. These do 1100 feet per second. I've chucked them over a chronograph. So this is 160 grains at 1100 feet per second, which is about 357 Magnum handgun ballistics. A 357 Magnum out of a rifle goes even faster because it can develop more power. So those of you who fired full chat 357 Magnum in a light Winchester carbine, you'll know that it hits you. It doesn't in this. This is a 9 and a bit pound rifle with handgun ballistics, basically. So we're going to do exactly the same as we've done up to now, only with super light loads, and see if it makes a difference. Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed that I've loaded my charges asymmetrically. This is because these are based on S&B cases that don't have a sufficient rim radius or bevel to ride over if the rim goes in behind. So to avoid rim jam, we are loading asymmetrically. So let's see how this goes. Actually, aside from a couple of flyers, that's a better group than I shot with the full power ammo back in May. But yeah, my instant thought with the splits is probably some of the splits are going to be quicker. Some of them are a bit sticky. I screwed up my reloads totally, but because we're doing this with a shot timer, I can split that all out in the data. They're hand loads. Some of them are a bit sticky. They're only neck size because S&B brass is a bit brittle and tends to not last very long if it's full length sized. So yeah, we shall see. There's only one way to find out. So back to the table for some geekery. Right, that was quite old footage there, and so welcome back to the present day. Looking at the stats, the splits are on average 157, and if we go back to the original No.4 run right at the start and leaving out the human error one, it's 1.56. So yeah, the graph shows a sort of similar progression. It's sort of hovering just around 1.5, and then we get towards the end and it opens up a bit as I start to get tired. I get some really quick ones in. Fastest one here is 1.04, and the slowest, well, the first split's a bit slow, that was 211, and then after that the slowest is something of the order of, well, 1.9-ish, yeah, 1.93 we've got in there. With hindsight, I've also worked out what was causing just a little bit of resistance on chambering, and then in fact I've got two of those Lee molds, and the bullet form on the front part there isn't quite the same. One is slightly tighter than the other, and that No. 4 has a 2-groove barrel that's got hardly any wear on it, so it's actually quite tight in the throat, and it was just putting up that little bit of extra resistance that you can just see in the footage if you know what you're looking for. I think had the chambering been completely free, that might have shaved a couple of hundredths off, but I mean, to all intents and purposes, it's basically the same at just over 1.5 seconds, which I think is an interesting result. What did make a difference, though, as I noted back on the range a couple of years ago, was that the group size seemed to be smaller with the lighter loads, and I think that was simply because I was having to do less work to bring the front sight back down onto aim because the recoil was significantly less. But in terms of pure rate of aimed fire, exactly the same whether it's a full power load or a light load, because it's the working the bolt that takes the time, not the getting back on aim. So there you go. I think that's a vaguely interesting result. So thanks for watching. Thanks very much to Coup du Tir for the use of their lovely range in Sion, Canton Valais. Thank you very much to patrons who pay for all the ammunition and the range hire, etc. If you haven't become a patron yet, please consider doing so, because it really helps us to keep producing content like this, and see you again. Bye.